It happened in a single sentence, a sentence Usha Vance never intended the world to hear. Yet once it slipped from her lips, the entire political universe froze, like someone had ripped the oxygen out of the room. During a private dinner gathering surrounded by donors, strategists, and high-ranking insiders, Usha leaned forward and whispered the words that detonated Washington. "Yes, Erika is pregnant. And it's my husband's." The table fell silent. Glasses stopped mid-air. Forks hovered over plates. Nobody spoke, nobody even breathed. Because the moment that admission escaped her mouth, every political alliance, every fragile friendship, every whispered rumor about Erika Kirk's private meetings suddenly locked into place like a puzzle no one wanted to see completed. And the first person told wasn't Charlie Kirk's family. It wasn't TPUSA. It wasn't the inner circle. It was someone far more explosive, Candace Owens. According to multiple insiders at the dinner, Usha didn't even realize what she had revealed not until she saw the look on Candace's face. A look of horror, a look of betrayal, a look of confirmation. Because Candace had suspected something for weeks. But this was beyond scandal. This was beyond infidelity. This was betrayal at a level that could fracture the entire conservative movement. Within minutes, the room scrambled. Phones buzzed, chairs scraped, people whispered frantically. Someone even yelled, "Do not tweet this." But it was too late, because one insider, furious, stunned, unable to contain what they just heard, leaked everything to a private political channel. And from there, the wildfire began. Long before Usha Vance's whispered confession sent shockwaves through the political world, long before Candace Owens' reaction ignited a firestorm across every conservative platform, and long before Erika Kirk's name became synonymous with scandal, betrayal, and backroom chaos, the roots of this entire disaster were already quietly growing beneath the surface. Anyone who has followed the conservative ecosystem long enough knows one truth. Political friendships are fragile. Political marriages are complicated. Political alliances are unpredictable. But what happened between Erika, Usha, and J.D. Vance? What happened in those private circles? What happened behind closed doors where cameras weren't allowed? None of it was sudden. This wasn't a new affair. This wasn't a one-night mistake. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment betrayal. According to insiders who had been quietly keeping notes for months, this scandal began as far back as Charlie Kirk's final year, long before Erika was widowed, long before J.D. Vance became a national political force, long before Usha's quiet suspicion turned into full confirmation. Let's rewind. The first whispers, months before the public had any idea something was wrong, TPUSA staff had already begun noticing unusual behavior. Erika started attending exclusive dinners she wasn't originally on the list for, random appearances at political strategy meetings, increased travel sometimes with no explanation at all. And staffers inside TPUSA claimed she was often accompanied by a high-profile official whose name they weren't allowed to write down. But someone did write it down, and that note leaked. The note said, "Erika arrived with Senator V. Again." They spoke privately for 47 minutes, no staff allowed. Senator V. Vance. But at the time, no one jumped to conclusions. High-level political figures meet all the time. They strategize, plan events, coordinate messaging. No one assumed anything inappropriate because Erika still carried the image of a devoted conservative wife, the polished counterpart to Charlie's platform. But there were problems. The phone calls. Insiders claim Erika received late-night calls from an unnamed federal official. The calls increased in frequency from once a month to once a week to multiple times a week. Sometimes she would leave political events early. Other times she would excuse herself from meetings abruptly, holding her phone tightly as she stepped outside. One leaked message from a TPUSA staffer read, "She's always talking to someone named Jay. She steps outside every time. She gets nervous when we walk by." And then another message. Charlie asked who she keeps calling. She told him it was about donors. Nobody believes that. Charlie sensed it. He wasn't naive. He wasn't blind. But he was trapped between suspicion and a desire to protect the woman he publicly defended for years. According to a friend close to Charlie, he felt something was wrong, but he didn't want to accuse her. He thought it would destroy everything they'd built. But while Charlie hesitated, Erika didn't. The trips. Erika began traveling more frequently, not with TPUSA, not with Charlie, not with her usual circle. Instead, she took short, secretive trips to Washington, Cincinnati, and occasionally to unlisted private retreats attended by political families. One staffer accidentally discovered an itinerary that included a layover near the Vance family's private residence. When confronted, Erika allegedly laughed it off and said, "Oh, please, I was just attending a leadership forum." But the timing didn't match, and neither did the location. Her trips always happened when J.D. Vance was present at the same events, but Usha was not. Coincidence? Maybe, but the frequency turned those coincidences into a pattern impossible to ignore. The dinners. According to leaked texts, donors began noticing Erika and J.D. seated together at multiple closed-door dinners, always talking quietly, always sitting close, always slipping away for private discussions. A donor texted another donor, "Why is J.D. so close with Erika lately? It feels odd." And the reply, "Not our business, but it's weird." These weren't casual gatherings. These were political grooming sessions, the kind where alliances are built, narratives are written, and partnerships are negotiated. And yet, Erika seemed to grow emotionally attached in ways no one expected. Staffers later said she became more defensive, more secretive, more impulsive, a completely different woman behind the scenes than the one she posted online. Charlie's confusion. People close to Charlie have confirmed that he was increasingly concerned about Erika's closeness with certain political figures, but he never once publicly confronted her. He believed in loyalty. He believed in protecting family. He believed people would never betray him so publicly. He also believed his marriage was stronger than any rumor. But privately, in messages leaked from his iCloud backup, Charlie wrote, "Something is wrong with Erika. She's hiding something. I don't know who she's seeing, but it's not normal. She's not the same." Another message, "I'm losing her." He didn't know how right he was. Usha's suspicion. While TPUSA staff quietly took notes about Erika's behavior, Usha Vance was connecting a different set of dots. According to insiders, she noticed unfamiliar perfume on her husband's clothes. She saw late-night texts with no saved names. She spotted sudden defensiveness from J.D. She overheard whispered phone calls ending abruptly when she walked into the room. But the moment that broke her was the simplest. One night, J.D. abruptly changed his phone password, something he hadn't done in 7 years of marriage. When Usha asked why, he shrugged. She didn't buy it. And that's when she made her own moves. She started watching him closely, listening, documenting inconsistencies, following the breadcrumbs Erika herself left behind without realizing it. And then, the private dinner. Everything came crashing down at that now infamous dinner, the same one where dozens of donors witnessed the moment Usha Vance's suspicions turned into confirmation. Insiders at the event claim Usha had been tense all night, unusually quiet, gripping her wine glass like she was trying to steady her shaking hand. J.D. seemed distant. Erika looked stressed, avoiding eye contact with Usha entirely. Halfway through the evening, someone casually mentioned pregnancy scares within political families, a harmless conversation starter. But something in Usha snapped. She leaned forward, eyes red, voice lowered, and whispered, "She's pregnant, and it's my husband's baby." The table froze. Everyone thought she meant a rumor, an assumption, a suspicion, until Usha continued, "I saw the messages. I saw the dates. I saw the tests. I am done protecting them." The room erupted internally, silent shock, frantic eye contact, people trying not to gasp. And who was sitting directly across from Usha? Candace Owens. Candace, who had already been suspicious of Erika for years, who had watched Erika manipulate circles quietly, who had heard whispers but lacked proof, suddenly found herself holding the detonator of the biggest betrayal scandal the conservative world had ever seen. Candace didn't flinch. She didn't look away. She didn't breathe. She simply whispered, "You're telling me Erika is pregnant with J.D.'s child?" Usha nodded. And just like that, the scandal became unstoppable. The moment Usha Vance whispered the truth that Erika Kirk was pregnant, and the father was her own husband, the political world didn't simply react. It exploded. And what came next was not reaction, it was war. Because as shocking as Usha's confession was, it was only the trigger. The real conflict, the catastrophic, reputation-shattering, career-destroying conflict began the moment someone secretly recorded that dinner table whisper and leaked it. The recording, less than an hour after Usha dropped the bombshell in that exclusive donor dining room, a 12-second audio clip appeared in a private political Telegram channel known for sharing insider gossip. The caption read, "Someone caught what Usha Vance said tonight. This is real. Brace yourselves." The clip spread to 10 people, then 100, then thousands. And within minutes, Candace's phone began vibrating uncontrollably. Notifications, missed calls, messages from insiders and donors all asking the same thing. Is this real? Candace played the clip once, twice, 10 times. Usha's trembling voice, the clink of silverware, gasps, someone whispering, "Oh my God," and the unmistakable sound of J.D. Vance's chair scraping as he stood up. Candace's hand shook, her heart pounded. Everything she suspected about Erika, every rumor, every whispered warning, every sudden shift in Erika's behavior suddenly made horrifying sense. But Candace didn't react emotionally. Not at first. She reacted like a strategist, like a woman who had watched Erika quietly manipulate circles for years, like someone who knew this wasn't just infidelity. This was calculated betrayal at the highest level, and Candace wasn't going to let it slide. The confrontation, 3 hours after the leak. Sources confirm Candace Owens personally called Usha Vance, not to console her, not to gossip, not to pry, but to clarify. Multiple insiders say the call lasted 1 minute and 39 seconds. And what happened on that call changed the landscape of conservative politics. According to one person who overheard a portion of the conversation, Candace didn't ease in. "Usha, I need it straight. Is the child your husband's?" Silence. Shaking breath. And then, "Yes, I have the tests. I have the messages. I have everything." Candace's voice reportedly cracked on the next line. "And Erika knows?" Another breath. A devastating pause. "She knows." Candace snaps. Candace had been suspicious for months. Erika's bizarre behavior during Charlie's last year, her sudden travel patterns, her late-night calls, her emotional volatility, her tendency to isolate, manipulate, and deflect. Candace always knew Erika was hiding something. But this? A full-blown affair with J.D. Vance, a sitting senator resulting in a pregnancy? A betrayal of Usha Vance? A betrayal of Charlie's memory? A betrayal of an entire political movement? Candace saw red. Sources say she hung up the call, locked her office door, opened her laptop, and immediately began pulling every screenshot, every rumor, every note she had collected over the past year. Because the pieces were suddenly forming a horrifying picture. A picture of coordinated secrecy. A picture of political seduction. A picture of a woman who knew exactly what she was doing. For Candace, this was personal. Because she had warned people about Erika before, and nobody listened. But now, she had proof, and she was done being silent. The evidence leaks began. It started with one insider, a woman who had worked closely with Erika during TPUSA events, forwarding Candace a set of screenshots from Erika's second phone. Screenshots that no one was supposed to have. Screenshots showing late-night messages to J, hotel confirmations under pseudonyms, someone saved as V with no last name, coordinated meeting locations, a pregnancy test photo taken inside a restroom that was not Erika's home holding. One message read, "I told you I missed you. I can't lie about it anymore." Another, "If anyone finds out, this destroys both families." Candace's heart dropped. The timestamps matched the exact days when Erika had claimed she was visiting family or on donor business. But the most devastating message was the one with the ultrasound image. Not a Google photo, not a fake, not staged. A real ultrasound. With Erika's name on the top right corner, dated 4 weeks before Charlie's death anniversary. Candace stared at the screen, numb. This wasn't scandal. This wasn't rumor. This was betrayal of the highest order, the internal collapse. Once the screenshots reached a handful of TPUSA executives, the entire organization cracked in half. Executives began calling emergency meetings. Donors threatened to withdraw. Staffers panicked. One insider wrote, "This will destroy us. Erika destroyed us." Another, "This is bigger than TPUSA. This affects senators, families, elections, everything." A security officer reported that Erika's badge was deactivated pending review, meaning she was locked out of TPUSA offices. Someone placed guards near sensitive files. Someone wiped shared drives. Someone tried to quietly remove Erika's name from internal documents, but it was too late. The story was global. The husband at the center, J.D. Vance. While the internet demanded J.D.'s response, insiders claim he went into immediate crisis mode, locking down his phone, canceling appearances, and holding closed-door meetings with lawyers. One source close to the Vance family wrote, "He's terrified. He knows this doesn't just destroy his marriage, it destroys his career." Another insider said J.D. begged Usha privately, "Don't make this public, please. The fallout will be catastrophic." But Usha was already past the point of silence. The first twist, just when the political world thought it had processed enough chaos for 1 week, an even darker revelation surfaced, one that linked Erika and J.D. long before Charlie's death. A former TPUSA intern leaked an email chain dated 16 months earlier showing Erika requested VIP access for Senator V. She demanded a private meeting room for sensitive conversations. She rearranged security routes so she and J.D. could exit quietly. She canceled a meeting Charlie had scheduled, replacing it with family obligations. In one email, Charlie wrote, "Erika, stop making changes without telling me. This is the 3rd time you've scheduled something behind my back." The reply from Erika, "It's for his safety, drop it." His safety. Charlie was confused, but he obeyed. Candace, upon reading this, slammed her laptop shut. Everything clicked. Erika wasn't a grieving widow who fell into temptation. This wasn't a spontaneous scandal. This wasn't a romance born out of tragedy. This was premeditated, long-term, deliberate. And when Candace read the final leaked line, she nearly screamed, "You promised you'd leave her. When are we making our move?" Erika? Leave who? Usha. Erika was planning a future with J.D., a future rooted in betrayal, secrecy, and political ambition. This was not an affair. This was a plan that involved 2 marriages, a political empire, and an unborn child. And Candace Owens? She wasn't just angry now. She was ready to burn the entire truth into the public record. Because what comes next is the moment Candace goes public, the moment she exposes everything, and the moment the scandal spirals into something no one can control. The escalation didn't begin with a statement, a press conference, or even a post from Candace Owens. It began with a scream echoing through a private hallway at a closed-door political retreat, the same retreat where Usha Vance finally confirmed the betrayal that had been haunting her for months. According to 3 separate attendees, after the dinner, after the gasp, after the initial shock rippled through the room, Usha collapsed in tears and had to be escorted away by 2 women she barely knew. But what Usha didn't know, what no one knew at that moment, was that she had triggered a chain reaction that would uncover far more than J.D.'s affair. She had exposed the dark, hidden machinery beneath the conservative political elite. Because the moment Usha said the words, "She's pregnant with his child," a domino fell, and every single domino afterwards carried a secret no one was prepared for: the after-dinner panic. Inside the retreat, chaos broke out. J.D. Vance stormed out of the dining hall, fuming, humiliated, terrified of what would happen next. Staffers claimed he paced the lobby, grabbing his hair, muttering things like, "This is going to ruin me. Why did she say that here? Candace is going to use this." But J.D. wasn't the only one spiraling. Because in another part of the venue, Erika Kirk received a text that shattered her world. A screenshot leak later shows the message. Usha told them, "Everyone knows. Witnesses say Erika froze like her blood turned to ice, then immediately grabbed her phone, opened an encrypted app, and sent a message to someone labeled only as D. It read, "We have a problem. This wasn't the plan. Call me now." Who was D? A donor? A strategist? A fixer? Another politician? Nobody knew yet. But leaks would soon reveal everything. Candace Owens goes into attack mode. While Erika panicked, Candace Owens switched into war mode. Sources say she didn't sleep that night. She stayed in her home office until sunrise, connecting every screenshot, message, email, and rumor she had collected over years involving Erika. Staffers close to Candace described the atmosphere in her home that night as something out of a political thriller. Papers everywhere, screens lit, people whispering. Candace wasn't emotional anymore. She was calculating, and she was furious. A TPUSA insider leaked a message Candace sent privately. "She betrayed Charlie. She betrayed Usha. She betrayed all of us. I'm done protecting her." Candace collected Erika's travel logs, Erika's hotel receipts, flight data for J.D. Vance, photos from events they weren't supposed to attend together, a deleted message backup from one of Erika's old assistants, encrypted voice notes from someone inside Erika's private circle. Then she began making calls. Journalists, influencers, political strategists, even people who once defended Erika. And everyone had a story, a moment, a rumor, a suspicion. People who had stayed silent suddenly felt comfortable speaking. Because Erika wasn't just exposed, she was cornered. The first real shock. A secret meeting log. Hours after the retreat meltdown, an anonymous staffer leaked a document that shook the entire timeline. A security log showing Erika accessing a private conference room with J.D. Vance 6 months before Charlie's death. The footage wasn't included, but the timestamps were. They entered 2 minutes apart. They stayed inside for 73 minutes. They exited separately. But the part that blew everyone away? The room was scheduled under a pseudonym. M. Hall Marriage Consulting Session. Marriage. Whose marriage? Not Charlie's. Not Usha's. This wasn't a consultation session. This was a cover. And the same pseudonym was used again 3 months later, and again 2 months later, and again just weeks before Charlie died. Candace's team saw the pattern immediately. This wasn't an affair that developed. It was a long-running operation, carefully hidden, strategically planned, repeatedly covered. The second shock. Erika's pregnancy timeline. Next, another leak surfaced, a medical appointment confirmation attached to Erika's email with her private clinic listed. The date of conception didn't match her public travel timeline. It didn't match her statements to friends. It didn't match the timeline she told Charlie's family. But it matched J.D. Vance's trip schedule exactly. 3 trips, 3 overlapping dates, 3 identical locations. Candace printed the documents and slammed them onto her desk. She was with him the entire time. J.D. Vance's role gets darker. At this point, the political world assumed J.D. was simply a married man who made a terrible mistake. But they were wrong, because the next leak made him look far worse. A staffer released a deleted message from J.D.'s private political phone. "We have to keep this quiet. If Usha finds out before we're ready, this all collapses." Before we're ready? Ready for what? A divorce? A political shift? A new narrative? Another message read, "Erika, you promised this wouldn't blow up. You said she wouldn't suspect anything." The she in question? Usha. The leak made it clear J.D. was not an unwilling participant. He wasn't manipulated. He wasn't tricked. He was involved, active, strategic, coordinating with Erika for months. Candace hit her breaking point. The third shock. The deleted video. Someone from TPUSA's internal tech team, terrified but determined, leaked a video file recovered from Erika's iCloud. It was never supposed to be seen. In the video, taken in a dimly lit Airbnb, Erika can be seen crying, holding her stomach. J.D. sits beside her, tense, panicked. Then Erika whispers, "What if the truth comes out? They'll know it's yours." J.D. replies, "We'll handle it when the time is right." Handle it when the time is right. For WHO? For what? The implication was devastating. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was a partnership, a plan. A future Erika and JD were preparing together while destroying two families, a movement, and Charlie's legacy. The fourth shock, a text from Charlie before his death. This was the twist no one was ready for. A member of Charlie's extended family leaked a message he had sent 1 week before he died. "Something is wrong with Erika. I think she's hiding something big. Pray for me." Was this related? Did he know? Was he beginning to suspect? That ominous message added a layer of mystery the internet was not ready for. The world reacts to the escalation. Once Candace had the timeline, the receipts, the footage, the logs, she decided to do the one thing Erika feared more than anything. She prepared to go public. Not through passive hints, not through quiet tweets, not through back-channel gossip. Candace Owens prepared a full exposé with documentation stacked from the floor to her desk. And insiders say she ended her final phone call that night with 6 chilling words. If they want war, they've got it. Because the next part of the scandal, the part the world sees, is not the affair. It's the complete political collapse that comes from the truth. The aftermath didn't just shake the conservative world, it detonated it. The second Candace Owens' private circle confirmed the affair, the pregnancy, and the timeline. The entire political ecosystem went into a state of pure hysteria. You could feel the panic through the screen. You could feel the tremors in the air. You could feel the shock ripple across Washington like an earthquake no one had seen coming. Every major conservative group chat, donor chain, political strategist thread, and anonymous forum lit up like someone dropped a nuclear bomb in the middle of their conversations. People weren't whispering anymore. People were screaming. One insider wrote, "Do you realize what this means? She betrayed Charlie and Usha. And JD let it happen." Another insider said, "Everything Erika touched is tainted now. Every decision she influenced, every event she inserted herself into, every move she made inside TPUSA, it's all compromised." And then came the fan reactions, millions of them. Twitter turned into a battlefield, TikTok into a forensic lab, Reddit into a courtroom, Instagram into a war zone. Influencers went live every 15 minutes trying to make sense of it all. Political channels had emergency streams. Commentators uploaded videos without thumbnails because they couldn't process the shock long enough to design one. The #shown trending hashtag worldwide became number Erika and JD, followed by number Justice for Usha, number Candace was right, number Erika exposed, number Political Affair Gate, number Whose Baby Is It. Every few seconds, another leaked screenshot surfaced. Every minute, a new insider came forward. Every hour, a new person from Erika's past said they always suspected something. But nothing, absolutely nothing compared to the reactions coming from inside the political elite. Donors were furious. One donor wrote, "I gave hundreds of thousands to help this movement." And this is what they were doing behind the scenes? They were playing house with each other while pretending to be moral leaders? Another donor demanded refunds from events Erika oversaw, saying she was manipulating everyone. Her presence was fraudulent. The political strategists reacted even worse. According to one strategist, this doesn't just hurt marriages. This hurts campaigns, voter trust, political credibility. This is a catastrophe. And another, if this story gets bigger, and it will, it could derail JD's entire political future. Behind the scenes, JD's team was in freefall. Assistants crying, phones exploding, emails flooding in, lawyers pulling all-nighters, crisis PR teams trying to draft a narrative that wasn't immediately laughable. Someone leaked a message from JD's senior advisor. "We cannot let him speak right now. He'll make it worse." And at the same time, someone from Usha's side leaked. "He hasn't faced her. He can't. She's destroying him right now." But the real explosion, the moment that broke the internet, came when Usha herself made a move. She didn't post a paragraph. She didn't issue a statement. She didn't give an interview. She posted one sentence on her private account. "I warned him this would end in fire." People lost their minds. Comments poured in. What did she know? How long has she known? Why did JD risk everything? Did Erika manipulate him? Did he manipulate her? Is the pregnancy real? What happens now? And then, as if the universe wanted the drama to escalate even more, someone leaked a text from Charlie's sister, written nearly a year ago, hinting she suspected Erika was involved with a politician she shouldn't be close to. The comment section turned into flames. Charlie KNEW. He tried to warn people. She betrayed him long before he passed. This is bigger than an affair, this is a full scandal. And then Candace Owens, who had stayed silent for hours, finally broke. She didn't release a video yet. She didn't upload a tweet storm. She didn't even go live. She posted 8 words. She lied to the world. Now she will answer. Politicians panicked. Staffers panicked. JD panicked. Erika panicked. Because when Candace speaks in short sentences like that, everyone knows she's about to burn the world down. Within minutes, big-name conservative journalists were DMing her, begging for an exclusive, pleading for context, trying to get ahead of the story. But she ignored them all. Insiders say she was preparing a full expose, and people close to her described her mood as furious but controlled, the most dangerous version of Candace. Meanwhile, TPUSA itself spiraled into freefall. Workrooms emptied. Executives canceled meetings. IT staff pulled security footage for review. Legal teams warned employees not to speak. Multiple staffers went home early for mental health. And someone leaked a message from TPUSA's leadership Slack. We need to prepare for the possibility that Erika's influence compromised operations. That message alone confirmed what fans had suspected. This scandal wasn't just personal. It wasn't just marital. It wasn't just a betrayal. It was a political breach, a catastrophic failure of trust, a collapse of boundaries, a corruption of influence, a violation of everything TPUSA claimed to stand for. The internet responded by tearing Erika apart. People revisited old videos where she acted off or emotional. Clips surfaced where she looked nervous at events JD attended. Photos resurfaced where she stood too close to him. People dissected her interviews frame by frame. The narrative was spiraling into something JD could no longer control, and Erika could no longer hide from. But the most shocking reaction wasn't from fans, donors, or influencers. It was from someone unexpected. A former political aide, one who had worked with both families, came forward anonymously and said, "This wasn't an affair, it was an alliance." And then the aide dropped a bomb. They had plans. Real plans. They were preparing for a future no one knew about. The internet gasped. Plans? Future? For what? And that's when Candace Owens dropped one more cryptic message. You're all asking the wrong question. It's not why they did this. It's what they were planning next. Those 20 words froze the internet again. Because if the affair and pregnancy were not the end of the story, then what comes next? Is the part no one is ready to hear? Everything that had happened so far, the leaked audio, the ultrasound, the hotel receipts, the secret meetings, the breakdown at the donor retreat, all of it felt catastrophic. But nobody, not even Candace, Usha, or the insiders leaking information at lightning speed, understood the actual scale of what Erika and JD were planning. Because the affair wasn't the story. The pregnancy wasn't the story. The betrayal wasn't the story. They were symptoms of a much bigger machine moving beneath the surface. The real story was the plan. A plan that had been in motion long before Charlie passed, long before Usha ever grew suspicious, long before this scandal erupted across the internet. It began with a file Candace Owens received at 2:17 a.m., anonymously encrypted, untraceable, containing documents even Candace didn't know how to process at first. The message attached to the file simply read, "You asked the wrong question. This is the truth." Inside, there weren't screenshots, or leaked messages, or audio clips. Inside were strategic memos, political memos, confidential memos, memos written from an unregistered email tied to a private political consultancy, a consultancy linked directly to J.D. Vance's camp. The subject line of the first memo, Scenario B, Post-Kirk Alignment. Candace froze. She clicked. Inside was a detailed breakdown, a political restructuring blueprint outlining how the conservative movement could be reorganized into new leadership channels after the expected vacancy created by shifting public sympathy. Vacancy. shifting public sympathy. Her pulse quickened. She scrolled. In the center of the page was a paragraph that made her entire world stop. If handled correctly, Erika Kirk can be repositioned as a sympathetic figure, transitioning from organizational spouse to strategic partner. Potential integration with Senator V's. Long-term objectives should be explored as circumstances evolve. Integration. Long-term objectives. Circumstances evolve. Candace's breath caught in her throat. This wasn't an affair. This wasn't a slip-up. This wasn't a mistake. This was a political partnership in its earliest stages, a partnership built on secrecy, emotional leverage, and mutual benefit. The next memo was even darker. It referenced narrative reshaping, controlled leaks, opinion steering, movements consolidation, influence, transfer opportunities. Opportunities? Influence transfer. From who to who? Candace scrolled faster and faster until she reached the line that flipped the entire scandal upside down. Erika's increasing emotional and ideological alignment with Senator V has potential to reshape her role after the expected transition of leadership. Expected transition of leadership. Expected. Candace's stomach twisted. She pushed back from her desk, pacing, shaking, trying to understand what she was reading. Were they waiting for something? Were they anticipating something? Were they planning something? The next memo, the third in the chain, answered her question. Should the family dynamic shift earlier than forecasted, Erika's position must be stabilized immediately to ensure continuity of influence. Family dynamic shift. Earlier than forecasted. Forecasted? Candace's voice cracked as she whispered to herself. They were preparing for Charlie to not be there. She didn't want to believe it. She felt sick even thinking it. But the lines were clear. Too clear. Something about Charlie's future, something no one ever questioned, was being discussed behind closed doors long before he passed. And Erika was central to the plan. Not a byproduct. Not an accessory. Not a victim. A participant. Candace scrolled to the final page, a timeline written in cold, calculated bullets. Phase 1, relationship strengthening. Phase 2, public alignment. Phase 3, strategic repositioning post-transition. Phase 4, integration of messaging hubs. Phase 5, long-term alliance narrative rollout. Her heart pounded. The pregnancy wasn't an accident. It was a phase. But the document didn't stop there. Below the phases, in a smaller font almost hidden at the bottom, was one final bullet point. Contingency. Erika's personal situation may accelerate required transitions. Personal situation. Contingency. Accelerate. Candace dropped the laptop. She knew, instantly, that the political world wasn't reacting to a scandal. They were reacting to the collapse of a plan that was never supposed to leak. A plan built on betrayal. A plan built on manipulation. A plan built on Erika's proximity to Charlie. And then her proximity to JD. Candace didn't sleep for the rest of the night. She contacted Usha. She contacted Charlie's family. She contacted TPUSA's few remaining honest executives. And every single one of them said variations of the same sentence. This goes deeper than we thought. But the biggest twist, the part nobody was ready for, came at sunrise. Candace received one more message, this time from someone claiming to be a former political strategist who had worked directly with JD and Erika during the earliest days of their unusual closeness. The message said, "You still don't understand. The pregnancy isn't the scandal. The scandal is why he wanted her pregnant." Candace replied immediately, "What do you mean?" The strategist sent one chilling line. He wanted her tied to him permanently because they were preparing for a future together that didn't include their current spouses. Candace stopped breathing. This wasn't chaos. This was construction. This wasn't a mistake. This was a blueprint. This wasn't a betrayal. This was a plan for two people to merge power, merge influence, merge narratives, and build something entirely new. Something Charlie never saw coming. Something Usha feared. Something Candace is now prepared to expose. But the strategist wasn't finished. They added a final message, the one that ripped the ground out from under everything. And that plan? The one you saw in the memos? It's not dead. Someone else is still pushing it forward, even now. Candace replied, Who? The final answer came through. You already know their initials. They're in the first memo. Candace opened the file again. Her eyes froze. Her lips parted. Her pulse spiked. The initials weren't EK, weren't JV, weren't EK, Erika. They were DM. And that name is someone very powerful, very connected, and very intent on keeping this secret buried. This isn't the end. It's the beginning. And now you finally understand why this story has shaken the entire political world to its core, not because of the affair, not because of the pregnancy, not even because of the betrayal itself, but because of the plan behind it. A plan so calculated, so secret, so politically explosive that the moment Candace Owens saw the memos, she realized something horrifying. This wasn't a scandal. This was an operation. Someone with the initials DM wasn't just aware of Erika and JD's secret alliance. They were helping architect it, funding it, guiding it, protecting it. And even now, after the leaks, after the fallout, after Usha's collapse, after TPUSA's implosion, after Candace's discovery, that person is still pushing the plan forward. So here's what comes next. If you want the next chapter, the identity of DM, the motive behind the blueprint, the real reason Erika was being groomed for a political partnership, and the full truth behind the operation Charlie unknowingly walked into, then I need you to do 3 things right now. Like this video so this story gets pushed into every timeline they're trying to hide it from. When you hit like, the algorithm forces this investigation into the light. And trust me, they don't want that. Subscribe, because the information coming next is so dangerous, so sensitive, so high stakes, that updates will drop without warning. And if you're not subscribed, you will miss them. Turn on all notifications so you know the second the next leak arrives, the moment DM's identity cracks open, and the instant we uncover the next phase of this operation. And finally, comment below and tell me your theory. Who do you think DM is? Why were they orchestrating a power merger between Erika and JD? What political outcome were they preparing for? And what do you think Charlie discovered before everything fell apart? Your comments force transparency. Your questions make silence impossible. Your engagement keeps this investigation alive. This story isn't over. This scandal isn't finished. This operation hasn't died. Because the next reveal, the identity behind DM, will change everything.